stuck on like. It's like if we talked about the Mavs, like you should never get off Luka, like they did.
No, but
so now they're trying to get better.
Right. Yeah, I like
that narrative.
No, hold on. But here's why it's totally fair to be stuck on it. Just like with the Mavs when they traded Luka, they were like, we're all about defense. If they then traded the return they got for Luka for Trae Young, you'd be like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
When the Cowboys traded Micah, Jerry told everyone who'd listen, we're going to get 4 players out of this. No, you're not. You're getting Quinnen Williams. You're getting a worse, older, front 7 defensive player. That's what you're getting.
He's worse, but he's still excellent.
Right.
He's worse than Micah.
And you got the guy from Green Bay,
Kenny Clark, and right. But as far as the adding players, you traded away Mozzie Smith in this, who again was a first-round pick that didn't work out. But there is. And this is where you and I are very different on this, and I know I can be frustrating, at least to you, I hope not to the audience, on trade stuff. You heard this trade, and this isn't me taking a shot because I think this is how the audience works as well, and before you heard the return, you're like, that's awesome for Dallas.
Yeah.
And I just objectively was like, how can you possibly have an opinion on this?
The Dallas has, like, every day we come on the show, it's like, wow, the Dallas defense is terrible. What are they going to do? They did something. Like
I'm more with Wilds on it. You just mentioned Mozzie Smith, a failed draft pick. Mm-hmm. There's no guarantee these other picks don't fail. So they're getting a proven commodity in Quinnen Williams, who is still relatively young.
The logic of trading Micah was we need a surplus of people. That's what Jerry told us. Jerry said we're going to be able to get 4 players out of this. And what I'm telling you is they just traded almost all of their return for Micah for one player who is, one's a DN, one's a D tackle. Quinnen is older, and Quinnen is not as good. It's bananas process. And so I think if you want me to be positive, not you, but I think this is a great job by the Jets. The Jets recognized that they need to reboot. I just think I would have been squeamish at paying this as the Chiefs, who can win the Super Bowl right now. I think it is insane for a team that currently is a half game out of having a top 10 pick of the draft, acting like they're making win now moves. We're about to talk about the Colts. The Colts, right or wrong, believe we can win the Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. I don't get the Cowboys. I don't understand the process.
I just think it's for future. I mean, look, I agree with you. I think Jerry thinks it's now. But I don't think this is a bad move for the future either.
Yeah. You know, everyone will just kind of keep going in circles with this. I think these types of trades, it's never really easy to figure out how much of a net positive or negative these things end up in. I'm more conservative when it comes to these types of things. And I actually made this joke yesterday when I was talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and the trades that they made, where I'm just like, we all talk about these trades. We all talk about how much we paid this player for that and this, that. And it's just like, none of us really know. I'm all for us sharing our opinions, obviously, and, sitting on the couch saying, oh my God, why did they run? They should have passed there. What a terrible play call. And it's like, that's just part of fun. That's part of sports. But like when it comes to like now, like trying to build a team in this way, like we can all pretend like we're GMs out here, like we're confident. And it's brutally difficult. And I'm more conservative in that regard, where as uncomfortable it is, you are looking at the Cowboys as not true contenders. I mean, listen, the defense wasn't great, but like the defense isn't why you lost against the Cardinals. Your offense couldn't do anything either. Your offense didn't do anything until the very end of the game, where you got some garbage time production. Your offense wasn't good enough. The team right now is just not good enough. And now you're trading away valuable draft capital. A second round pick in the NFL is, I mean, this isn't the NBA. Like that is valuable. A first round pick 2027, like that is valuable. And this is what I was saying before as well. We're on disconnected timelines right now with what this team can be and what Dak is with the core of Dak. Like, again, I understand quarterbacks are playing older and we're seeing Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. Like, there's just no guarantee that Dak Prescott's going to be letting it rip all over the field at 40 years old. You can bank on that all you want. But you got to look at it as Dak is in his prime and in his core right now, and that he only is going to have 3 years or so max of him playing at, peak potential. And, and same thing with CD. And if you're keeping Pickens, like you have this core that you want to try to win now, which is why when you traded Micah and got some of this draft capital, it was always going to be a somewhat disconnected of a timeline from my viewpoint. That was my take from the jump. And now you're trading away some of that capital that you got, but it doesn't feel big enough. And it also feels a little too late as well. Like it's just the timeline of all of these things don't really make sense. And at that point, I'd rather you now sit on this year, and you now are going to be flirting with a top 10 draft pick, and you either now are in a position to draft an immediate impact player, whoever that might be, whatever the draft looks like, or you're now flushed with picks that you can now trade those and make moves for other players, whoever that may be. It's just whether you want to continue to build out your offense, defense, or both, and I just feel as though making a move right now, I don't know. It does seem a little too rich for me, and I don't necessarily see the huge reward from it, especially when you're factoring in that you gave up Micah in the first place. Like, I don't know. I struggle to make sense of some of these acquisitions in real time, honestly. I really do. I'm not afraid to admit that. That's why I'm curious to see how Dallas Cowboys fans feel about this, because I just think right now, that's why Troy Aikman made the joke where he was just like, when they talked about it on TV, when he was doing, they were saying, Jerry Jones has hinted that he made a trade, but he's not announcing it. And Troy Aikman said, oh, well, you know what, they should probably consider canceling that trade because it doesn't look like it's going to really make any much of a difference. And, he was kind of being tongue in cheek, but there is some truth to that. And, I don't know. At this rate, I'd rather have the draft capital going into a draft and making moves there, because maybe there's someone in the draft that you really want. Maybe you see other teams are looking to get rid of another specific player. I don't know. I prefer. And listen, I don't think the Sauce Gardner, they gave 2 first-round picks for that, and I can defend that too, and I will, but it's not my favorite pick either. It is a swing, and I'm all for taking a big swing if you believe you can win the Super Bowl, or these low-risk, high-reward situations, which is what Howie Roseman did. Howie Roseman essentially really gave up pretty much nothing. It's either a huge success, and it's like, oh my God, that was amazing, and if not, then it's like no harm, no foul. They gave up essentially nothing, and they actually do have Super Bowl aspirations. Same thing with what the Chiefs did with DeAndre Hopkins, what the Rams did with Von Miller and OBJ. Like, these were all kind of swings that allow you to win right now and have a huge impact. And if they don't work, it's like not the worst case. You either took a big swing and it just didn't pan out, or swing and a miss, but doesn't crush me now moving forward. Doesn't really hurt me if it doesn't work out. You're not really mortgaging your future. And it's not to say that the Cowboys are mortgaging their future here. I'm just trying to make sense of the timelines, the decisions, and what you're trying to do right now. What you're trying to do in real time right now. It's just, I can't make sense of the timelines. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm ultimately struggling with. Yeah, I'm just struggling with the timeline, which is why I said if you actually had a plan, you would have, and if you said, listen, we got to move on from Micah because that's a strategic move, fine. But then you do it before the draft. You could have gotten draft picks this season. Therefore, you could have already now drafted someone else. You're already developing them. They're already making an impact. Like you're already doing something today, which now accelerates that timeline. There's no acceleration of a timeline now. You're kicking the can down the road, but then also kind of replacing it at the same time too. Like it's just you're switching out the can and then also now kicking the can down. Like it's just I struggle to make sense of it. I think that's really what my take is. I'm just struggling to make full sense of what's the plan, what's the timeline, what are you looking to accomplish right now? Yeah, Williams is in isolation is a good pickup, and there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that. But considering what the capital you're working with and what the chain of events have been, that's what I'm just trying to make sense of. So hopefully you guys can make sense of it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Dallas Cowboys making this trade? Are they trying to win now? Do they believe they can win now? Like, are you happy with the move like this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.